and thank you so much for tuning in today to the Trans Latina Coalition YouTube channel. My name is Michelle. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns, and I am the manager of policy and community engagement here with the Trans Latina Coalition. And I am honored to be here with
Maria. Hi, everybody. My name is Maria Roman. I am the Vice President and Chief Operations Officer for the Trans Latina Coalition. I am so excited to be here today to go a little behind the scenes of how we get ready. I have to be honest, this is the first time that I let anybody film me with no makeup on, but anything for getting a coin for our community.
Yes. So we are here today to film a Get Ready with Me GARRAS edition. And we are going to be giving you a little bit of two different types of makeup looks that you can give or that you can do for yourself for the GARRAS fashion show, which is happening on November 21st. So let's get right into it. And we have our moderator here, Jessica, who's going to be joining in.
Hi, Jessica!
Yes.
Hey!
So she's going to be asking us a couple questions as we go through our makeup routine about how the fashion show started, how you can get involved, and all of the things. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, here we go. Oh. Sorry, people. I like to start with a little spray.
Yes. I'm going to borrow some of that,
Makes me feel a little fancy. Okay. This is a live show, people. Alright, so I start with a little foundation.
I start with to prime my skin.
So Michelle, is this the first time you do your makeup on camera for thousands of people to see you putting your stuff on?
For something like this, yes. I've never filmed myself. I post a lot of my makeup online, but not necessarily film it. So I'm excited about this. What about you?
I'm super
Well, I see
scared.
you bare all the time, so you must do stuff like this all the time.
You know, the funny thing is that I think there's, you know, we have our real personality that people near us get to see, and then we have, many of us have this persona that we have online, right? Just saying, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know, there's the filter us. I really like the filter me. I like the real me too, but it's not sort of part of my social media stuff I share.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah. You're like, I can see why you would. But I think hopefully people will see that, you know, makeup, I feel that makeup is a skill, you know, it's something that you can use to transform yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I first started transitioning, makeup was the only tool I had to really show the world who I was. I have to say that I'm really concerned of, you know how people put makeup on and they make all these weird faces? I wonder what those faces would look like after this, because I've not seen myself put on makeup through somebody else's lens. So it'll be interesting. I think I pout all the time.
What order do you do your makeup, Maria? Because you start
What
with your
order?
foundation. Yeah, because you start with your foundation, and I start
You know,
with my brows.
I'm gonna be 50. I think I learned how to, because I see a lot of people that do their shadows first and then do their foundation, but I learned early on to do my foundation first and then everything else. So I think it's hard for me to change my way of doing it.
The way I see it is like, if you have a really fierce eye look, then you need like less complexion or like less skin and foundation. So I like start with my eyes.
I always put a lot on, so I think it's a good thing to live on, but I need to really be completely covered and contoured.
Who taught you how to do makeup?
I kind of taught myself. I started just experimenting with stuff, because I mean, I think being 6 foot, well, I know being 6'2", you know, it's hard being a trans woman and being so tall. Well, for me it was hard. So I had to, and I was a really good looking
Yeah?
boy, but I did not translate to a pretty girl at the beginning. So thank you to all my doctors. for this journey?
I think for me it's the same. I definitely learned. We're also two very different generations. So for me,
What are you trying to say?
girl, I mean,
No, true.
we look like, you know, cousins or sisters, community sisters, but girl, the
No,
age gap
true.
is real. So
Yeah.
for me, I grew up in a generation where YouTube was actually a thing. So when I started watching YouTube at the time, like I was always been like a trans girl, whatever I am, right? But at the time, I was like identifying as a boy, and there were only like 2 boys in makeup on YouTube, and then like
Mhm.
most of it was cis women. And so I learned a lot of what I know about makeup from YouTube and from those few like queer people that were on there.
That's amazing. I mean, I think makeup is really not. I mean, we're changing. I think as a society, makeup is something that anybody can use to express themselves.
Mhm.
But definitely, I think for many trans people, it's been the tool to really play with our gender and play with our expression
Mm-hmm.
and so on.
Yes,
I mean,
talk a little bit about the history.
so basically, GARRAS began. You know, me and Bambi, we have been friends for 20 years, forever.
Yeah.
And at that time, the Trans Latina Coalition had started in 2009, and they were really, Bambi was really in the process of doing leadership development for the board. I was part of the board, but not as involved. So I won this pageant. It was Miss California Panache. I know the name is very interesting.
Punani? What?
Panache. Miss California Panache. And I had to do a fundraiser for the pageant. So I thought, you know, let's do a fashion show. And I said, Bambi, you know, I have to do this thing. What do you think? Do you think, you know, we could do this for the organization? And she's like, oh yeah, I love the idea. And then
And what was the organization like back then? Was it like the same? Was it very different?
oh my God, it was so much different. You know, you do have all the chapters throughout the different states, but you know, it all has been spearheaded by Bambi at that time. Bambi had just left Children's Hospital to fully dedicate 100% of her time to the Trans Latina Coalition, or she was about to leave. So I really felt that I wanted to, one, support my sister with anything she needed, and 2, if I was gonna do something, I wanted it to be meaningful, that it would be, you know, special, something that one would be fun, that could raise money, and you know, we all love, I think pageants, balls is all part of the culture of us as people. So I thought, well, let's have a fashion show, and let's have it with all trans models, and let's also have it with all the designer being from the community, trans, gender non-binary, and people from the community. So we started organizing it, and the first year, whew,
2 people.
no, it was packed, but there was so
Oh,
much
really?
work. I mean, we had
Was
to,
it in someone's backyard or was it like a whole hall?
girl,
I'm trying to get to the roots. of
Girl,
what, and what
you-
year was this?
God, what year was it? I think it was 2013.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a minute. So it was at the famous Arena nightclub that since then has been closed. But Bambi used to do the Angels to Change at that venue, so she had access to having that venue, and I've been in many pageants in that venue that Karina Samela had done. So we had the event there, but there was over 100 models, we had 10 designers. Wow, that was something else. It took so much work and effort. We raised that first night $5,000.
Wow.
The first time. Ooh, I got banana powder everywhere.
You know, since I've been involved with the fashion show, like the first time that I was a part of it and supported the organization, like y'all were really raising $100,000 for a house. So to see like this first one was
Yeah.
$5,000, and
Wow.
from the like 2 years ago raising $100,000 for this house that houses, you know, trans women in need in community and trans people in general, I think it's so amazing. And
Yeah.
was there a goal for that money at the time?
You know, at the time we were just trying to raise monies for things that communities. The truth is that, you know, the majority of the funding for trans people a lot of times is related to HIV. So we wanted to make sure that, you know, we had funds to be able to do other stuff with community. And I think it has grown, you know, after that, through conversations, we're like, and the need that we continue to see, we knew that people needed housing. I mean, today, that's one of the biggest needs we see through our organization, that people come, they don't have a place to live. So I think that gave us the freedom to do some amazing stuff for our people. You know, GARRAS has become sort of a staple for the community locally here in Los Angeles. Our board members come up from across all the different states. I know that we have been struggling with COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
But we felt that it's important for us to continue to do the things that are important for our community. And this event is one of those things that really showcases, one, the beauty and the diversity of our people. It gives an opportunity for trans designers to showcase their lines. It gives also the opportunity for community members to be high fashion models and strut their stuff. And it creates community while raising funds. And it gives a place where people can have a good time, a real good time.
For me, I'm excited to have been a part of it once again this year. You know, since I did it the first time, I've really, my transition has just changed in so many ways. Like, my body is different, but I've never felt like uncomfortable in this fashion show. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about it, is that there are so many different types of bodies, gender identities, you know, races, and all of the different things, right? It's just such an amazing group of folks that bring this show together. And so I'm excited to have been a part of it again. And I'm giving a very different look than I did last year. And so
you look
I'm excited
beautiful.
about
I'm
it.
excited for people to see all the glamour. Moment of silence, we're cutting the crease.
Praying it comes out good.
Moment of silence.
So you should be getting a little sneak peek of what we're going to be wearing right behind us. And really the intent of this is to show you two different types of styles that you could do with your makeup for the fashion show. You know, there are designers that give very high glam, old Hollywood gowns, stuff like that. There are people that give very avant-garde, gender bending, you know, stuff like that as well. And so I think there's such a wide variety of how you could do your makeup. And this year, we're actually going to be asking people to do their makeup with us and get ready with us to show us what their look would be if they were to have attended in person, and to post it online. We're going to be revealing the hashtag later, but just start thinking about the different makeup looks that are possible for the fashion show.
Well, the truth is that we do stuff for people that most agencies do not fund. You know, people come, you know, we've given support for people to get electrolysis, we've given people support to get, you know, to pay for a storage fee because they might lose all their belongings. So the fact that we have the ability to have unrestricted funds gives us an ability to support people with what they really need. I mean, you name it. We supported people with stipends for clothing if they have an interview. Food is traditionally what we do, transportation, taxis. We bought plane tickets for people to return home across the country because they were ready to leave Los Angeles. So that gives us the flexibility to be able to do those things.
That's such a good point, and I think that's so important to uplift, because I think there's so many different things that the organization does that people don't necessarily see online. And for a lot of people in our community, this center and the Trans Latina Coalition is a lifeline and a beacon of support that people really rely on. And I'm just honored to be a part of it. And I think the fashion show is such a fun way to uplift our community while also generating funds that really keep our people alive and keep our people safe. And so, yeah, I'm so glad that people are getting to hear that, because I don't think people get to see and hear that enough unless you're coming in as a client.
do today to support the Garras Fashion Show?
They can share their flyer.
You
they
can subscribe to the YouTube channel so that way you get a notification when the show is starting because that's where it's going to be streamed. Sorry, I cut you off.
Rude. You could donate already on our website. You could donate already on our website. You can share all the information. You can have a house party or a virtual party.
Plan to watch it together.
Where you can watch it
COVID
together.
safe, of course.
Yes, we are. We want to promote safety first.
Okay, what are some of your what are your fave trends designers?
Oh.
Well, I have to say that I will be wearing Miss Jessie Alvarado. But I love everybody that has been part of the show. This year we are fortunate that we have Paragon by Dominique. We also have Awasis, who is an indigenous designer that's going to bring out something beautiful. We also have, what else do we have? Why am I drawing a blank? Can't think of everybody. It's only 4. You know, that's what happens when you get middle-aged. You forget stuff. But I know we have Jessie Alvarado, Awasis, Dominique, and Gloria Sanchez, who I love. She's gonna be bringing some Katrina-inspired designs that are just beautiful. Okay, so what I like to do, I like to put my eyelash glue on. I usually wear dark eyelash glue just so that way I can, you know, it kind of makes the eye darker, but in this circumstance, I'm gonna use white so that way I can see where the glue is. And I let it sit for about a few seconds. I have a hard time because I can't see as well as I used to when I was Michelle's age. So Michelle, what do you
Girl,
think is,
half your age.
what is a misconception you think you have about old people?
A misconception, well, I don't want to be ageist, but I think I do hold a little bit of that stigma. No, I'm just kidding. But I think for me, I really look up to our elders. And I don't know if you consider yourself an elder yet.
I think
I consider yourself a mother of the community.
I'm an elder.
An
I mean,
elder.
I'm gonna be 50 in literally 3 weeks, which
Well,
is.
that's
What's your sign?
I'm Sagittarius.
Okay, Miss
Wow.
Fire.
And
Yes.
I'm gonna be 50 years old. I would have never thought I would have made it this long. Wow, you're
When
a
I s-
baby.
When I started working at the organization, I was 21, so it's exciting to
How many
have
years is
seen
that?
the 3.
3, yeah.
Checking.
To have seen the growth and
Well,
know,
you really have, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I remember
amazing.
when I met you in Washington D.C.
Yes.
So, folks, I'm trying this new thing. I saw this from Miss Carlisha Giselle, who works for MAC.
Yes.
She does
we
this
love
thing where she
Carlisha.
writes these little lines on her eyebrows, and I think it looks so great. I mean, I'm not an expert yet, but this is my new sort of thing. So I really just started by making lines.
And me, I'm just blending out all the colors on my face and then going in with a little bit more detail and some liner in a minute. But just wanted to make sure it was all blended and looking good. I'm hoping it's looking good to y'all.
Both of y'all are looking spectacular.
Gracias.
What are some affirmations you like to give yourself when doing your makeup?
You know, I don't necessarily say that I tell myself affirmations during the makeup, but throughout the day I have to remind myself that although things are hard, that I deserve anything that good that's coming my way. Like even through school, there's days like, why am I doing this? You know, why?
Mhm.
And I have to remind myself because you deserve this, because you have to prove a point to people that you can do this, and prove it to yourself that you can achieve anything you want. And I want a degree, and I'm telling myself you could do this. It's hard though, but as far as affirmations of how I look, you know, I've learned that no matter what I do to myself, the world will see me how they see me, and I have no way of influencing that. And I think I have to learn that the hard way, that I just have to be, and that should be enough.
Amazing.
And while I'm being, I'm gonna be as fabulous as I can.
You have my full attention now, y'all. Done with my liner. adding a little bit of highlight. For me, I think for me as a trans person and as like, you know, I identify as a trans femme, but very much non-binary. And I think for me, what I have to remind myself when I'm doing my makeup and just when I'm going about the day is that I don't have to look a certain way to be valid. I think a lot of the times the community can be, especially as a feminine, like a trans femme, a trans girl, it can be really easy to feel pressured to, you know, want to conform to the standards of society and look a certain way, which is totally valid and is a form of survival for a lot of us and helps us. But I think for me, that's never been like my goal. And so I'm always reminding myself of like, you're beautiful even though you don't look like everybody else, or you're just doing your own thing. So that's something I always tell myself.
I think that's so critical though, because I think for me, we didn't have, those conversations weren't happening, you know, like we were expected, like I was the tall.
What do you mean, like when you were younger?
Yeah, like I was tall, I was expected, you know, like when I was young, they used to call me Marionon. Because I was big, you know, and in the Latin culture, you know, I could never be a woman because I'm too big. How could you be a woman? There's nothing about you that's feminine. You're a big old dinosaur, you know, and within the trans community, people made me feel that way. And I think that's why I over focus on fitting this femme mold. But now I don't really give two craps.
Yes.
It's what you get, honey. Today I can give you a beautiful lip, and tomorrow I can give you absolutely nothing.
Yes,
And
that's
still
what
be
she
fabulous.
deserves.
Did I overdo my lip too much?
Maybe when you do your lipstick, it'll fill in.
Okay. So again, this lipstick.
Yes, now that you're wearing, all of us are in masks, what are some foolproof, I guess, so that your makeup doesn't smear underneath your masks? Do you have any of those tips?
Yeah, so I think for me, the mask has made our community 99% more unclockable. You don't have
Don't
to.
say that because there's people that are getting clogged with a mask. You know, it's gonna hurt people's feelings.
Girl, well, I'm joking, but.
You know, the other day I went to the Placita Olivera and this guy was so rude to me. You with the mask, he was like, "Sir," because I was trying to film there.
Sir?
He did call me sir.
Remember when we were filming the Union Station 2 and that woman was.
Oh my God, I have really bad luck with people calling me sir. I think they just can't handle all this greatness.
That's right.
Right.
You know, they feel like they need to challenge me.
Yes, thank you.
So we're gonna go ahead and toss on an outfit, get a little bit together, and you'll see our final looks in a little bit. So
We'll be back.
all right, everyone. So here are our finished looks. I'm giving very avant-garde, very edgy, zebra fantasy with some blue eyeshadow and a brown straight, I don't even know how many inches, wig. And Maria, what are you giving?
I'm giving super glam, feather look, straight hair with a little wave, glam.
Yes, and so these are two very different styles that you can do to show up to GARRAS this year in the virtual sense. And hope you found a couple tips, tricks, and ways that you can show up fully ready for the fashion show. We want to thank you so much. Hope you all learned about the fashion show, the history, what it's for, what all the funds will be going towards, and how you can support. Is there anything that you want to say, Maria?
We hope to see you. Remember, November 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
So make sure you subscribe to the Trans Latinao Coalition YouTube in which you're watching this video now, and so that you can be ready to tune in live on Saturday, November 21st.
Don't miss GARRAS virtually 2020.
Suck my